What's up, everybody? Paul here from the Hoops Crew, and today I want to get on my soapbox a little bit. I'm not having a crack at anyone enough of the week style. I'm not trying to speculate on our finals prospects too much. I want to talk about a psychological thing. I put together the match reaction this week off the back of our loss to St Kilda, and kind of picking apart how that ultimately happened. We obviously dominated in the first half. We played Marvel Stadium very, very well. We played our opponent very, very well. And then in the second half, everything just evaporated. There was no defensive pressure anymore. There was no willingness to kind of address the way St Kilda was playing. No visible, willingness to address the way St Kilda was playing. It was a very listless second half. We seemingly just kind of rolled over and accepted whatever was going to come because maybe we were trying to preserve our bodies. We didn't want to get injured. We didn't care. We were mindful of what was going on and the fact that all we had to do was beat West Coast the next week to stitch up the top 4 spot regardless. I don't know what the mentality was. And that's kind of what I want to pick through, and I want to discuss whether it is at all possible that takes an edge off the Cats, or whether we can rediscover that edge for the next week. And I don't mean acid and edge, everybody. Let's not get carried away there. That's just gone into the bin this week off the back of their finals crack coming to an abrupt, ugly, and catastrophic end. No, an edge. There's a natural edge that players who are high performing and who are some of the best players in the competition have at all times. We see Paddy Dangerfield play with it all the time. We look at Bont, he does it. Christian Petrarca, he does it. Some of the best forwards in the comp, there's always an edge. There's some spice there. There's always this dangerous look about them. Like at any moment, they could just rip the game apart. And we have players on our list that can do that. I mentioned Paddy Dangerfield. We've got Jeremy Cameron, who's got that edge, despite the fact that he kind of looks like he's having a bit of fun all the time and it's all fun and games and laugh. There's an edge to him. You can see when the body language is, when he's on. You can see the body language is right on. And we've got plenty of other. Tom Stewart's the same. Tom Hawkins has long been the same. There's these guys who've been on our list for years who are just superstars of the game. You can see it. And what shocked me in the second half of our game against St Kilda is that, probably aside from Paddy Dangerfield, who only knows one way, which is to go at 110% speed and power. Outside of Paddy Dangerfield, I didn't see that from anyone really, and it was shocking. And so it does leave me wondering, and I questioned it a lot in the moments after the loss, and I recorded the reaction video I started recording it less than 5 minutes after the game came to a close. And so everything was really fresh at the time. But I've had some time now to sit and digest it and to think through it a little bit. And I'm wondering if we can find that again. As in the good stuff, the real stuff, the thing that's going to carry us into finals. Was that second half just a blip on the radar? Because we had been performing pretty well. I think there was some strategic and selection-based errors that cost us against the Dogs. But otherwise, we've been right on. We showed it the week before against the Dockers that we were a force that week. And not many teams, and we'll see what happens when Port Adelaide, who's kind of fighting for top 2 with us, we'll see how they fare when they travel over to the West to tackle a Freo team who must win this week to even make the finals. We'll see how they go. But I was very impressed by what I saw that week. And what we brought that week, the hunger, the intensity. Danger led from the front, but the others were with him. And there was so many on the Cats list that we didn't see that from this week. There's a very, very small selection of players that I saw that desperation in this week. And so I desperately, firstly, want to see that back. And I wonder, can we bring it back? Can we sustain it through the finals? And my gut feel is yes, because we've seen a Geelong team over many years, and I know there's a lot of names and faces that have changed hands now, and there's a number of players who are right at the culmination of their career now. And I think depending on potentially no matter what happens in this final series, it could be the last time that we're seeing a few of Geelong's players, some legends of the club. But those players, as well as everyone else on that list, in that 23 that plays that day, I need to see a desperation there that wasn't present in the game against St Kilda. And so many stats highlighted on the weekend the lack of desperation. And I think there was few that kind of represented that more than the lack of contested possessions, the lack of uncontested possessions compared to St Kilda, because we just let them run around. Our tackle count was well below. Their marking count was well above ours. We weren't accountable. We weren't checking players. We weren't keeping them accountable for every action they made. And again, there seemed to be no willingness to adjust to their game plan. And that was a worry. That was a real worry. So what I want to see this week when we go to play the West Coast Eagles, we see Harley Reid, who is quite likely to be a future Brownlow. It feels like, I say it's impossible to say quite likely because we know what this game can be like. But it feels like this is a future Brownlow medalist here. This is a player who has more skill than you can shake a stick at and is incredibly strong for his age, well beyond his age. Someone needs to bury him this weekend and make a statement. Not an illegal one, not something that's going to get you suspended, not a Dan Houston, but make a statement against this to the whole competition that I don't care who it is, we're going to bury you. We want to see fight. And it was something that wasn't present in the second half of that game. And I think Chris Scott did a good job of, dancing around during his press conference, dancing around the idea that there was an intent thing. He kind of focused on the ground. He focused on other factors. And I feel like refused to acknowledge what was abundantly clear to many. Geelong didn't bring the fight in the second half and they weren't willing for whatever reason or reasons there were, whether they were individualized or whether they were holistic. But I don't want to see it this week against West Coast. We do have something to fight for. If we can bash this team into oblivion, and we've just seen Carlton do it on Sunday night. Carlton have done it, and they've barely had a team out there. They had neither of their key forwards. They still beat them up by 60 points on West Coast home deck. We have an opportunity here to beat up this team by 100 points and give ourselves a chance, if things fall into place, to still take second spot on the ladder and get ourselves a final at the MCG in the first week. And not have to deal with Sydney on their home patch. So please, Geelong, fight this week. I really sincerely hope that there's that fire in the belly to attack this game like it is your last for the season, like it is a final, and then bring that into the first week of finals, no matter who the opponent is, no matter where we're playing. Because I firmly believe, despite what we saw this weekend, and despite a block of 8 weeks throughout the season that we're incredibly poor, I firmly believe that Geelong has a chance of winning the grand final this year. Not because we're the best team in it, because we're not. We're in this beautiful transition period where we're seeing experience leave and youth step up, and it's a really great sign for the club that we're able to remain at the pointy end of the ladder despite doing that. It's an awesome position to be in, that these young kids are getting to get these finals experiences so early on and be so much better for it. And then who knows, we could be on the verge of transitioning from one era to another without bottoming out at any point. And wouldn't that be amazing? But we are here and there's an opportunity. We have the talent and we just need to bring the intent. And if we can do that, then why not us? And there's a lot of other clubs saying the same thing. So you got to want it even more. But I'll finish simply with, why not us? So crack in and let's hope we win ourselves a premiership in 2024. An unlikely one, but a premiership in 2024. At this point, every team who's remaining, the top 9 that are still available, that has to become 8, every team can make a claim on for the premiership this year and justify why they deserve it. Some teams it's going to be harder than others. We've got an opportunity here, just by banking the win against the Eagles, to go straight through to a prelim if we can put everything together. So bring the fire, bring the hunger, bash up on the Eagles, bash up on whoever we play in the next week, in the first final, and let's go from there. All right, Cats fans, that wraps up this video. I hope we can find the hunger Let me know in the comments what you think, though, as well. Check us out on socials. You can find me at Paul James Games. Check out our Patreon, where you can get free and exclusive access for a week, and then consider sticking around for the cost of $5 or $6 for the entire month. The cost of a single coffee, you'll get access to all of the content that we're providing for free. For free for that first week, exclusively to you, and in other cases with early access. Thanks a lot for watching, as always. Remain Geelong strong, and I'll see you later.